Okay, we are talking about peptides, proteins, antioxidants, bone health. Excuse me, yesterday we left off talking about antioxidants, what they are. We hear this term antioxidants all the time. We hear about nutrients being antioxidants, but nobody seems to tell us what exactly antioxidants are, what they do, why they're important. Yesterday we said antioxidants are nothing more than molecules that can contribute or donate a little piece of electricity that fills up the empty space of an atom that's had its little piece of electricity pulled off. Atoms like to have complete sets of electrons or electricity surrounding them. Oxygen can come along and steal a little piece of electricity. Chlorine can steal a little piece of electricity. Fluoride can steal a little piece of electricity. Solar radiation, sunlight can steal little pieces of electricity from proteins in your skin and cause sunburns. This stealing of electricity is chemically called oxidation, and antioxidation is a donation of electricity. Antioxidants have an ability to donate electrical energy, quenching or neutralizing these atoms that have had their little pieces of electricity, their electrons ripped off, that have been oxidized. Antioxidants quench oxidation. The natural world is filled with antioxidants. They're found in all living systems. We spent a lot of time talking about albumin as an antioxidant in the blood. Vitamin C and the B complex are antioxidants. Vitamin E is an antioxidant. Pretty much all vitamins are antioxidants. Most anyway are antioxidants. Many minerals are antioxidants. Selenium is a powerful antioxidant, maybe the most powerful of all the mineral antioxidants. Copper is an antioxidant. Zinc is an antioxidant. Iodine is an antioxidant. Even the much maligned biochemical cholesterol can function as an antioxidant. Plants are filled with antioxidants. They're out in the sun. They thrive on the sun. They've developed an ability to quench the oxidation that's caused by the sun. Lycopenes, luteins, xanthines, carotenes, flavonoids, all of these things that we call phytochemicals function as antioxidant. In fact, plants and vegetation are the ultimate sources of antioxidants, and it's one of the reasons, is maybe the most important reason, why vegetables need to be the main source of calories in a healthy diet. Vegetables need to be the main source of our caloric intake. Not fruits. I didn't say fruits. I said vegetables. Somebody tells you about fruits and vegetables, sometimes people will use those terms as if it's one phrase or it's one entity, fruits and vegetables. You can immediately assume that they really don't understand how the chemistry of food or the chemistry of vegetables work. Fruits are not vegetables. They're very, very different. Certainly, fruits have some value. Certainly, fruits have some valuable nutritional entities in them, vitamins and minerals and antioxidants. But most of this good stuff in a fruit tends to be located in the peel. The middle part of a fruit is sugar for the most part. And these days, fruits are selectively bred to be super high in sugar. And that's why you won't hear me saying fruits and vegetables. But vegetables, now those things are really, really important, and the bulk of our caloric intake needs to come from vegetables. The bulk of the caloric intake of a healthy diet is vegetable-based. Plants are exposed to a lot of solar energy. They're dependent on solar energy, and over the course of millennia, they have evolved chemical mechanisms that protect them from this electricity-stealing ionizing property. Ionizing is the chemical term for ripping off an electron. An electron becomes, or an atom, becomes an ion when it has a charge. A charge is developed by this ripping off, this oxidation of electrical energy. In any case, when we eat plants, we are the beneficiaries of these wonderful evolutionary protective mechanisms that the plants have evolved. Now, vitamins, minerals, plant nutrients, these are all vital and indispensable foods because they contain antioxidants. And all of these have to be obtained from the diet and also somewhat through supplementation. But there are also antioxidants that are made in the body. The body's filled with antioxidants because the body itself, the human body itself, is prone to lots of oxidation chemical reactions. So through nature and the divine force, lots of antioxidants have evolved inside the body. One is called catalase. Catalase is an antioxidant that helps neutralize oxygen that comes out from hydrogen peroxide. You know, the body uses hydrogen peroxide as a chemical weapon to kill things. Anytime you hear the word peroxide, that's an entity, hydrogen peroxide. That's an entity that has a free oxygen or has an ability to free oxygen that can kill things but can also cause a problem. That's why you have to have antioxidants like catalase. Another biological antioxidant that's made by the body is something called SOD. If you guys are using the Pollen Burst product, you'll see SOD in Youngevity's Pollen Burst. That's one of Dr. Corey Gold's products. Corey was very bright. He knew about the importance of SOD. Corey's really bright, actually. He knew about the importance of superoxide dismutase, SOD, put it in the Pollen Burst. You don't need to supplement with these, SOD or catalase. The body can make them. But you're going to find SOD in the Pollen Burst, and it's not a bad idea if you're going to be using the Pollen Burst or you're going to be using some kind of pick-me-up, it's not a bad idea to have an antioxidant in there as well. Then there's the third biological antioxidant, which is perhaps the most powerful antioxidant in all of human biology. This antioxidant is a peptide. Specifically, it's a tripeptide. It may be the most important biochemical in the body. We're going to spend a day or two, maybe more, talking about this. Super important antioxidant, anti-cancer, master antioxidant, master cancer fighter in the body. It's a tripeptide. It's a triple peptide, meaning it has 3 amino acids. Not only is this stuff an important antioxidant, not only is it important for protecting us from solar radiation, from sunlight, not only is it important for protecting us from all kinds of oxidation reactions, but also provides protection from a whole host of biological poisons, including drugs, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, illegal drugs. I'll tell you what I mean when we come back from our break. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. All right, we're talking about the very important antioxidant tripeptide that protects your liver, fights cancer, detoxifies drugs, all drugs, detoxifies plant poisons, and has a protective effect on other antioxidants, can help restore other antioxidants to their potency. Antioxidants like vitamin C and vitamin E can be restored to their potency by this very important tripeptide. This stuff not only has its own significant antioxidant properties, but it can improve the effects of other antioxidants as well. This stuff is mega important. It's a tripeptide called glutathione, and we've talked about glutathione a lot on this program. Glutathione can be considered not only the most abundant and important antioxidant, anti-cancer fighter, detoxifying substance in the body. I consider glutathione to be the most important, at least one of the top 2 or 3 or 4 important biochemicals in the body. We've known about this stuff since the late 19th century. It's one of the most abundant chemicals in the body. It's found in nearly every cell in the body. We've known about it since, I think, 1880. Some guy discovered it in the eyes, actually. We're going to talk about glutathione in the eyes. It's very important for eye health. It took about 40 years for us to realize how super significant glutathione was. It was discovered in around 1880, sometime in the 1880s, but it wasn't until the 1920s that it was discovered that there's super high concentrations of glutathione in the eye, specifically in the lens of the eye. And when you understand the nature of oxidation and its relationship to light, photooxidation, the effect that light or sunlight has on stealing these electrons, on oxidizing atoms, it makes sense that glutathione would be in the eye. What better place for the body to keep its most important antioxidant than in the eye, which is subject to the most light attack of any part of the body? In fact, supporting glutathione production in the body, and we'll be talking about that, how you do that, supporting the production of glutathione may be the most important thing you could do to protect your eyes from macular degeneration or cataracts or even glaucoma or any kind of eye disease. And because glutathione is used in the body for detoxifying prescription drugs, that means that the more prescription drugs you're taking, or the more over-the-counter drugs you're taking, the less glutathione you're going to have available to protect your eyes. This is so important. It doesn't show up on the package insert. Your doctor's not going to tell you about this. In essence, because all drugs deplete glutathione, because all drugs deplete the body's master antioxidant, master detoxifier, master cancer fighter, because all drugs deplete this substance, all drugs are capable of accelerating the development of degenerative disease, of cancer, of toxification, and of eye disease as well. All degenerative disease, but especially eye degenerative diseases. And these kinds of effects don't really show up as side effects of drugs. Nobody's going to tell you that your Benadryl or your Tylenol or your aspirin or your prescription drugs are going to cause eye disease necessarily, but via this glutathione depletion mechanism, that's exactly what can happen, even though it's not going to show up on the package insert as a side effect. Plain old Tylenol is one of the most important ways that we deplete our glutathione. Tylenol is one of the most commonly used over-the-counter drugs. And it's a big, big problem when it comes to glutathione depletion. A couple years ago, there was a study that was published in the Journal of Clinical Oncology that talked about long-term use of Tylenol being associated with blood cancer. Now, no one is saying Tylenol causes cancer or any other disease, but the fact remains that because the body's major cancer fighter, the body's major antioxidant and detoxifying substance is depleted by something as seemingly as benign as Tylenol, there can be a very important link between the formation of degenerative disease and the use of these kinds of medications. And that also means via this glutathione depletion mechanism, you're increasing your risk of eye disease just by using Tylenol on a regular basis, depending on how much you use. Now, am I saying that Tylenol causes blindness? No. Am I saying Tylenol causes eye disease? No, of course not. And certainly there's no research that I know of that says that Tylenol causes blindness, but the biochemical fact cannot be avoided. Tylenol requires detoxification by glutathione, the same glutathione that protects your eyes. The more Tylenol you take, the less glutathione you are going to have available for protecting your eyes or protecting any other part of your body from cancer, from toxicity, from oxidation, from inflammation, all the things that glutathione protects us from. Now, glutathione can be made. It is made in the liver. It's made by the body. But it does require raw materials. It requires amino acids. It requires minerals. It requires various nutrients for absorbing these amino acids, for absorbing these vitamins and minerals. And we'll be talking about all of these in the coming days. The point I want to make here is you're not going to hear Dr. Oz or your medical professional or anybody else talking about Tylenol having a negative effect on your eyes, but via this glutathione depleting mechanism, it very well might. And the same is true about prescription drugs. Your high blood pressure medication may not say is going to cause eye disease on the package insert, but via this glutathione depleting mechanism, it very well might. Unless you're taking care to get the building blocks, the raw materials of glutathione into your body, you could be in big trouble simply by taking Tylenol. It's not just Tylenol either. Glutathione handles all drugs. Benadryl can deplete your glutathione. Sleeping pills can deplete your glutathione. Antihypertensive drugs, diuretics, pretty much all drugs, over-the-counter drugs, prescription drugs, illegal drugs, any drugs can deplete your body's detoxifying master cancer fighter, master antioxidant substance, glutathione. This is what I mean when I say drugs are poisons. Drugs are poisons because they require detoxification by the poison control system. When I talk about drugs being poisons, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating for effect. They're literally poisons. Drugs are literally poisons in the sense they have to be depoisoned. They have to be detoxified. This whole notion of using poisons to heal the body, people, this is the stupidest, dumbest, most idiotic strategy in all of health care. It's called iatrochemistry, technically. That means doctor chemistry, and it is stupid. It is dumb. If you are on a prescription drug because you have some kind of degenerative disease, you are doing zippo, nothing, nada for your degenerative disease, nothing. And it doesn't matter what your blood tests say or what your cholesterol score is or what your blood sugar is after you take your metformin. It doesn't matter. You're putting an added burden onto an already stressed out system, and you're requiring your body to use its precious detoxification resources, its precious detox chemicals, to purify the nasty, toxic, deadly drugs that your doctor puts you on. Now, what the heck are medical professionals thinking? Doctors, what the heck are you thinking when you put somebody on a poison substance to lower their cholesterol, to protect them, to heal them, to help them with their health? It is stupidity with a capital S. If you want to deplete your body's master detoxifying chemical, continue taking your prescription drugs because that's what you're going to be doing. Glutathione is a magnificent, intelligently, divinely designed chemical that is designed divinely to protect your body from toxins, from oxidation, from cancer, and the last thing you want to be doing is depleting it with a deadly prescription drug. Yeah. Bottom line here, folks, glutathione is very, very important stuff. It's very important for eye health. And drugs that can act as glutathione depleters, that means chronic use of any prescription drugs or over-the-counter drugs, Benadryl, Tylenol, sleeping pills, cough syrup, whatever, all of these can have a degenerative effect on the eyes, and all drugs via this mechanism can mess up your vision. The eyes are major storage depots for antioxidants, as you might expect, because they're constantly being subject to oxidation from light. There's 20 times more vitamin C, for example, in your eyes than there is in your blood. The eyes concentrate vitamin E, they concentrate selenium, they concentrate zinc, and they concentrate glutathione. And there's also high levels of catalase and superoxide dismutase as well in the eyes. All right, lots more to say. Tomorrow we're going to talk about eye diseases specifically and what you can do about them, and all as it involves glutathione, the body's master detoxifying chemical. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Talking to Dr. Myrie about epigenetics. Dr. Wallach's new book is coming out in March about epigenetics. We've been talking about epigenetics on this program for a long time, and I've been talking about epigenetics in my presentations for a decade or more. Epigenetics is the science of what controls the genes. We are so bamboozled in our culture by this idea that health and disease and everything that is in our biology is based on our genetics, and as it turns out, that's not the case. There are master nutrients that control our genetics, and it's not just nutrients that control our genetics. Our thoughts control our genetics. Our levels of stress control our genetics. Our emotions control our genetics. Our environment controls our genetics. Our genes are constantly responding to the environment that they're in, whether it's the nutritional environment, the chemical environment, the toxicity environment. Whatever the hormone environment, our genetics are labile. They move, they're malleable, they're flexible, and they're flexible based on how they respond to compounds called epigenetic factors, factors that are transcendent to above genetics. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. We'll also continue talking about eye health, and we'll talk about how you can use glutathione and how you can boost your glutathione to protect your eyes. We will do that tomorrow as we continue talking about protein and bone health and osteoporosis, because that's what this whole thing is all about. All right, our number is 855-660-4261. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to get off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, if you have questions about the longevity products, and of course, if you have a success story or you simply want to contribute to the conversation, 855-660-4261 is our number. Let's go off to Connecticut and welcome Lori to the Bright Side. What's up, Lori? Lori. What's the story, Lori? You there? All right, I'm going to put Lori back on hold. I don't know what happened to... Oh, where she came back. Lori, you there? Lori?
Sorry, Ben. Hello?
What's up? How you doing?
Yeah, I got cut off a little short yesterday, and we had been talking about leaky gut and candida, and it led to something I had a question about, which is B12.
Okay.
And I've heard mixed reviews on it.
Mixed reviews? Wait. What do you mean mixed reviews? On B12?
Well, yeah, like there's certain forms you should avoid, and certain
okay.
I heard you should only be taking methylcobalamin.
No. Let me tell you. Let's clear up B12 a little bit, okay? First of all, there's no mixed reviews on B12 because it's super mega important. You know, B12. If you look at the chemical structure, you don't have to be a chemist to really appreciate chemical structures. All you got to do is look at them, look at the structures. You know what I mean when I say chemical structures? Those drawings with the little lines and the squares and the circles and the different shapes. When you look at the chemical structure of B12, you don't have to be a chemist to be absolutely blown away by it. It is so magnificent. It is so symmetrical. It is so artistic. It is so complex that it's mind-boggling to think that this thing is made by little bacteria, and that's what makes vitamin B12. Sometimes you'll hear people say vitamin B12 is an animal vitamin. It is not an animal vitamin. Vitamin B12 is made by bacteria that live inside of animals. In that way, I suppose you could say it's an animal vitamin, but really it's a bacterial entity. Bacteria make vitamin B12, bacteria that animals eat. And then we eat the animals, we get the vitamin B12. Bacteria in our digestive tract, so-called probiotics, can make vitamin B12. Bacteria that live on the bottoms of plants, so-called nitrogen-fixing bacteria, can make vitamin B12. Of course, if we use pesticides, we will kill those little bacteria a lot of times. And the plants will be depleted of vitamin B12. Algae has vitamin B12. Microorganisms that live in the ocean have vitamin B12. And vitamin B12, in addition to being the most complex vitamin, is also, and by the way, not only is it the most complex vitamin, it's the only purple vitamin, which I find super cool. Vitamin B12 has a little element of cobalt right in the middle of it, hence the name cobalamin. Cobalt is purple. Purple vibrates at the highest frequency of any color on the spectrum. If you've heard of the famous Roy G. Biv, those are the colors of the spectrum: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, indigo, violet. Violet is the fastest vibrating of all the colors, and vitamin B12 is the only violet or purple vitamin. Additionally, in addition to being super complex, and in addition to being the only purple vitamin, vitamin B12 is active in the smallest concentrations of any vitamin. It is super active, super complicated, super important, mega important stuff. In fact, vitamin B12 deficiency, because of, number one, it's difficult for the body to absorb, and number two, it's not found in vegetables as it should be because of artificial fertilizers and pesticides. Vitamin B12 deficiency may be, and a lot of people, including myself, believe it is somewhat of a hidden epidemic. If you have any kind of neurological problems, any kind of circulatory problems, any kind of muscle problems, any kind of brain health problems, you want to think about vitamin B12. Even doctors know about vitamin B12 injections.
Right. My son is getting those. My son is getting those shots.
Smart.
And that was been a question about that.
Well, hang on, Lori. Let me finish here, and I'll get to
okay.
you. I'll let you talk here in a sec. How old's your son, by the way? How old is your son? How old is your son, Lori?
21 months.
Okay, well, that's unusual that they put the baby on vitamin B12 shots, but it doesn't matter. It's probably not a bad idea. If he has leaky gut syndrome, chances are he's not absorbing his vitamin B12. So, in any case, there's three main kinds of vitamin B12. There's two main kinds, actually, methylcobalamin and then cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin will release a little piece of cyanide, which, some people think it's a problem, but I don't personally feel it's a problem. Cyanide is found in a lot of vegetables, even though it sounds horrible. Cyanide is a natural element, so it's found in a lot of plant material, and the body can detoxify it. Nonetheless, in order to detoxify it, it has to use up some precious detox nutrients. Hence, methylcobalamin may be a better form than cyanocobalamin. But they're both important, either one, whichever you decide to do. Another form of vitamin B12 is called dibenkozide, and that's an activated form of vitamin B12. That's my favorite form. You can get quite a good buzz off of dibenkozide. You can get quite a good buzz off of any vitamin B12. And if you're older, vitamin B12 injections, intramuscular injections, are not a bad idea. So I'm not sure what you mean when you say mixed reviews, because it's super important, although I think you might be referring to the difference between methylcobalamin and cyanocobalamin. Yeah, there's some people who tell you the methylcobalamin to stay away from cyanocobalamin, and methylcobalamin is probably a better form, but I don't know that cyanocobalamin is all that problematic. In any case, you want to be using vitamin B12, bottom line. Now, what were you asking? A specific question, ma'am?
Well, that was pretty much what it was, and secondary to that is how long do you think you have to stay on shots?
I don't know about a 21-month-old baby staying on shots, unless he has some serious gut problems. I don't know if that's necessary.
He had really, really bad gut problems.
It's not going to hurt him. It's not going to hurt him to stay on it. And if anybody is older, by older I mean older than 50, and they're on prescription drugs, or they have any kind of neurological issues, just get on a B12 shot, intramuscular B12 shot. It's cheap, it's a great insurance policy against degenerative disease, especially neurological and cardiovascular degenerative diseases. Hope that helps, Lori. Thanks so much for your call.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, and have a beautiful day, okay?
Thanks.
All right, take care. All right, Truth Raider, what is up, buddy? Welcome to the Bright Side, Carl.
Hey, getting getting buzzed on vitamin B. I like it.
B12.
Good morning, Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for having me on the show. Truth Raider here.
Yes, sir.
Get in your face with the facts here. Hey, question of the week. But first, BTT testimonial.
You got a testimonial for him? You hang tight. We got to take a commercial. Hang tight, Truth Raider. We'll be back after this, okay? If you're on hold, we'll get to all your calls on our when we come back from our commercial break. I am Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. Welcome back to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Truth Raider, what is up? Continue on. And we got a bunch of calls here, Carl. If you could just cut to the chase here, that'd be great. Carl, the Truth Raider. Mr. Carl. Mr. Carl, do we have Carl? Carl, going once.
Hello.
Hey, Carl, what's going on, buddy?
Okay, BTT testimonial, Ben.
Yes, sir. Love those.
My increase in my metabolic system, I've noticed.
Yeah, more energy?
Yes.
Awesome.
Hyper exfoliation of the skin, hair and nail growth increase.
That's awesome. That's the BTT 2.0 or the regular one?
Yeah, 2.0.
2.0,
That's
nice.
my favorite. We try to set that throughout the day. Make it a little bit warm for this time of the year because it's a little bit cooler, gets to the blood a little bit quicker. But the bad side of it is I have a whole bunch of food in the refrigerator and the pantry on the counter that I can't eat because I don't have the appetite. There's a decreased appetite.
Isn't that interesting? When we start getting nutrients in the body, one of the first things that happens is we're not as hungry because when we're eating for nutrition and you're getting your nutrients through the supplements. Not that you don't want to eat. You absolutely do need your vegetables, as we've been saying, but you'll find yourself eating a lot less. The weight will come off easily without having to force yourself to diet, and that's one of the neatest things, in my opinion, that's one of the neatest things about the BTT. Thanks so much for sharing that, Truth Raider. Any questions you have for us?
Yes. Question of the week now. This is the next segment.
Yes, sir.
Pomegranates. What are the nutrients that we find in pomegranates that make it so valuable for the body in the circulatory system?
Have you been reading about pomegranates?
I've heard it's been all the rage for the past several years. They put it in almost everything now. Palm drink is very popular. They put it in shampoo. Supplements are making foods and other sports drinks with pomegranate in it, sodas and waters with pomegranate in it.
Yep. I went to a trade show a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas, a nutritional supplement trade show for folks who formulate supplements for raw material, folks like myself who are looking for raw materials, and there must have been 4 or 5 companies who were selling pomegranate extract, just pomegranate extract. Pomegranate, amazing source of a lot of nutrients, great source of vitamin C especially. It's got the B complex, some vitamin B6 is in there, magnesium is in there. It's a wonderful, wonderful source of antioxidants, lutein and zeaxanthin, and great for your eyes, great for the reproductive system. It's always been considered a fertility fruit, largely because it contains lots of seeds. So throughout history, it's been used or prized for its fertility benefits. It's got some of the same kinds of antioxidants that green tea has in there. It's got fiber as well. Lots of great stuff in pomegranates. And plus they taste delicious as well. It's one of my favorite fruits, and it's also a great source of nutrition as well. Thanks so much, Truth Raider. Got to let you go. Got so many calls. I want to get to as many folks as I can. Susan in Michigan, welcome to the Bright Side. What's up? Hey, Susan.
Hi, was that Susan from Michigan?
That would be you, and I'm Ben from Colorado.
My name is Susan. I'm a first-time caller. I'm wondering what all I need because I've had multiple surgeries. I've had brain surgery. I've had my adrenal glands removed, my gallbladder removed, and they're not making my meds in the form that are making me happy anymore.
Of course not. They've taken out your organs. They're poisoning you, and you still go to your doctors. You think your doctors give a flying you-know-what about you? Any more than your plumber gives a flying you-know-what about your drain when he goes home? That's basically it. How dare a doctor? Did you have cancer, by the way, in the adrenal glands?
No, I had a tumor on my pituitary gland that overstimulated my adrenal glands to work too much.
So they took them out, of course. Your adrenal glands were working too much, so we take them out. That's the medical model for you. Okay. Okay.
I
don't even want to think about that. It's just going to make me angry. So we got to do what we can do. Okay. First and foremost, this is very important, Susan. You have to reduce any stresses on the body. That means anything that puts a burden on the body has to be avoided. Any lousy food, emotional stresses, mental stresses, you've got to learn how to nurture and sustain the body and eliminate any kind of physiologic, mental, or emotional stressors. Sugar should be avoided like the plague. And I mean any kind of refined carbohydrate, fruit juices, pastries, cakes, desserts, pasta, rice, bread, any of those things need to be avoided. Anything that puts a stress in your blood sugar system is going to really, your adrenal glands should be handling that, but they're not going to be handling it because you don't have any adrenal glands. So number one, you've got to reduce any kind of stress or eliminate any kind of stressor on the body. Eat as little as possible. And that means if you're not hungry, if you don't feel like you absolutely have to eat, don't eat. But you got to make sure that you're getting in nutritional supplements. I'd be using lots of liquid nutritional supplements, especially things like the Beyond Tangy Tangerine multivitamin type liquid supplements. Bone soup is going to be one of your best food friends. Vegetable juices. Keep track of vegetables that cause digestive problems, though. And then you need to avoid those. But other than that, you want to be doing lots of vegetable soups and vegetable juices. Make sure that you're getting your essential fatty acids. I'd be using the Ultimate EFAs, maybe 9 a day. Use them with digestive enzymes and use them with a little bit of fatty food, maybe fatty fish, and eat smaller portions. In addition, not eating when you don't absolutely must, when it's not an absolute must that you eat. When you do eat only as little as you need to feel satisfied. Learn to become attuned to your body. Make sure you're using Celtic sea salt. The adrenal glands regulate salt. You don't have that. So you're going to be missing one of your major salt regulating systems. Make sure you're using Celtic sea salt on a regular basis. Are you finding yourself craving salt, by the way?
Yes, okay, but I drink Celtic sea salt water.
Awesome. Did you know? Where'd you learn to do that from this?
A friend also was taking Florinef, and that's one of the drugs I take. And her doctor said to drink a gallon of salt water a day.
Okay, nice. Yeah, well, that's very smart. Celtic sea salt water. Make sure you're getting enough vitamin C. You'll get some in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, but I'd be using about 5,000 grams a day. You might even want intravenous vitamin C just injected into you. The adrenal glands are also a major vitamin C structure. Zinc is also important, 50 milligrams of zinc a day. Protein, super, super, super important. Make sure that your body reacts to the protein that you choose appropriately. If you find yourself bloated or discomfort from a type of protein, may mean that you're not absorbing it. Whey protein and egg protein are going to be invaluable for you. Get on the One World Whey, Stephen Ewer's One World Whey, that product. You can look that up on the internet. Let's see, there's so many more things that you're going to need to do. I told you about the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Let's see, anything else? Oh, magnesium, very important. Get on the OsteoMag, maybe 1,000 milligrams of the OsteoMag every day. Do you have any problems sleeping?
No, I can sleep any place. I can stand up and sleep. I can listen to the computer and sleep.
Okay, all right. Vitamin B12 might help you too as well. Vitamin B12 shots. The adrenal glands also regulate vitamin B12. So many things you're going to need to do, Susan, but the most important thing that you want to do is focus on relaxation. Oh, oxygen, of course. Breathing, deep breathing techniques. Get yourself, if you have an iPhone or a smartphone, get yourself My Calm Beat or bio breathing and practice deep breathing. The adrenal glands also regulate oxygen, and without the adrenal glands, you're running a risk of low oxygen or hypoxia, and that can cause all kinds of problems. So make sure you're practicing your deep breathing. So many things to do, but the most important thing is to eliminate any stressors on the body, whether they're digestive stressors, emotional stressors, physiologic stressors, whatever. You want to minimize any kind of stresses on the body. Nurture the body as if it were your baby. You got a baby that is sick. You got a baby that's crying. That's your body. And you want to figure out how to nurture and love the body like you would nurture and love a baby. Thanks for your call, Susan. Appreciate it. God bless, and got to move on here. Let's see. Let's go to Jessica in Michigan. Been holding on a while. What's up, Jessica? Jessica?
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I listen to your show every day.
I love it, but I can't. I need you to speak up or get me off speaker because I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, you are off speaker.
Okay, good. What's up, Jessica?
Well, I'm noticing I have, this isn't a new occurrence, I have a couple of moles, and I noticed in my family, after they get a little age, they get, I call it moly.
Moly? Did you say moly or holy?
Moly with moles.
All right. Here's the deal with moles. Moles are a sign of oxidation. We've been talking about oxidation. We'll be talking about it for the next couple of days. Moles are a sign that skin cells are starting to get oxidized. And it can have to do with the sun. It can have to do with the lack of antioxidants in the diet, or it can have to do with digestive problems that cause you to prevent the absorption of antioxidants from vegetables and from food. So 3 things that you want to do. Number 1, you want to use antioxidant nutrients. Vitamin C is probably the most important. Vitamin E is also important. Selenium is also important. Get on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Use it all day long. Make sure you're using the OPC selenium, anywhere from 400 to 600 micrograms a day, and get yourself on 400 international units of vitamin E a day. The second thing is, if you have any digestive problems, those are going to impair the absorption of fatty nutrients and antioxidants in general. So you're going to want to correct any digestive problems using probiotics, digestive enzymes, apple cider vinegar, lecithin after meals. And then third of all, use topical vitamin C. Get yourself some fatty vitamin C and apply it to your skin. Vitamin E can also help topically as well. For you guys looking for fatty vitamin C, I am developing one as we speak, and we'll have that up on our website here.
Where do I get glutathione?
Glutathione, you're going to have to listen up. We got to go, man. But you listen up tomorrow. We'll talk about how you build glutathione, and we'll also talk about foods that contain glutathione. That's all the time we have for today. If I left you on hold, I apologize. Call back tomorrow. We'll get you first up. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening, folks. Have a wonderful, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.